I donated a kidney to my boss's daughter. 6 months later, he fired me while I was still recovering. The first thing I noticed after surgery wasn't the pain, but the pure relief on my boss Richard's face as he gripped my hand. He whispered that I'd saved his little girl and he'd never forget this. It had started 3 months earlier when Richard called an emergency staff meeting. His voice cracked as he explained that his 16-year-old daughter Maya was in kidney failure. None of their family members were matches, and the waiting list was years long. He asked if anyone would consider getting tested. I had worked for Richard for 7 years. He'd promoted me twice, attended my wedding, sent flowers when my mother died. When my husband lost his job, Richard arranged a flexible schedule so I could pick up my kids from school. He wasn't just a boss, he was a mentor who'd shaped my career. When the results came back as a match, the decision felt natural, almost inevitable. The surgery went smoothly. My recovery would take 6 to 8 weeks, but Richard insisted I take 3 months with full pay, assuring me my job would be waiting for the first 2 months. Richard was attentive pairter, sending gourmet meal deliveries, checking in daily, even visiting with Maya, who'd gone from pale and exhausted to vibrant and healthy because of my kidney. My husband joked that I'd earned a lifetime of job security with a single organ. Then Richard's calls became less frequent. The meal deliveries stopped. When I emailed about gradually returning to work, his responses were delayed and vague. 4 months post-surgery, still dealing with fatigue and pain, I received an unexpected email from HR requesting a meeting. I assumed it was to discuss my return to work plan. It wasn't, Richard explained. They were restructuring the department and my position had been eliminated. The AR manager slid a severance package across the table, pairing 2 weeks' pay for every year of service with 3 months of health insurance. When I asked about the project team I was leading and my accounts, Richard uncomfortably explained that Melissa, my assistant, whom I'd trained, had taken over everything while I was out. I left in a daze, severance papers unsigned. At home, I discovered Melissa had been promoted to my position 2 weeks after my surgery parto, while Richard was still sending me get well texts. My husband wanted to sue immediately, but my employment contract included mandatory arbitration. My lawyer was blunt. Fighting would take years, and the company would claim business necessity, not retaliation. 3 weeks later, Richard's wife Charlotte called. Maya wanted to have dinner with me, not knowing what happened with my job. Richard had told her I quit to focus on my health. I agreed to meet Maya without her parents. She looked beautiful, healthy, paired alive because of my kidney. She explained how she'd returned to swimming, attended prom, applied to colleges, and said her dad called me his hero. I didn't have the heart to correct her. This wasn't her fault. After dinner, I texted Richard saying Maya looked wonderful and deserved to know the truth someday. He never responded. I found a new job 3 months later with a competitor during my interview. The hiring manager mentioned they'd lost the Franklin account due to mismanagement after a key person left. My replacement hadn't been ready. Yesterday, I received an invitation to a charity event. Richard's company was being honored for their commitment to healthcare initiatives, with Richard giving the keynote speech. The invitation came from Maya, who's now organizing fundraisers for kidney disease awareness. I'm going to attend not for Richard, but for Maya, and I'll wear a dress that doesn't hide my scar. Some gifts can't be returned even when they're not appreciated, but next time someone calls me their hero, I'll make sure they're worthy of the sacrifice first.